My name's Matt and I'm dressed as an Iron Age warrior. We're at Danebury Hill Fort near Stockbridge and we're here to describe how the people of the Iron Age lived around this area. To begin with, I am wearing woolen brackeye trousers, simple drawstring at the top or even just held up with a belt. You have a linen top and also a woolen top over the top of this, and then a cloak as well, held up with your jewellery, your brooches. I have my torque as a sign of my status in the tribe, and also my weapons, my sword, my dagger, and my pouch for day-to-day items. The Iron Age was from a period about 2,500 years ago to about AD 43 when the Romans invaded Britain. From the archaeological excavations, it's believed they lived here between 500 and 100 BC. It's believed there could have been up to several hundred people living in Danebury at the time of its highest population.
My name's Anne-Marie and I'm the Danebury Activity Officer. Here we are at Danebury Hill Fort, standing in the middle of the ramparts, in the centre of the ring. The ramparts are all around us in this huge circle, and over here towards the east we have a set of massive gates which would have been the main entrance and exit in the Iron Age for the people that lived at the fort, and that would be a key strategy of their defence for the safety of the villagers that lived in the middle.
The evidence of battles at Danebury were when they were excavating the front gate. It was found that several portions had actually been burnt down, presumably in some form of conflict. Here we have a selection of Iron Age living history items. On this side we have weaponry, and on that side we have day-to-day living history, what you've used in day-to-day life. To begin with, as a warrior, as a child, you'd be trained to use a sling. Simple weapon, lift it up, hold it in two hands, and you rotate this around your head. Let go one half, and the stone comes out like a projectile. You can hunt with it, and you can fight with it. Bit older, and you may be given javelin. Throwing weapon. Distance maybe 50, 60, 70 metres accurately. After the javelin, you'd earn your spear. Thrusting weapon. Two-handed or possibly one-handed and with a shield. So you'd thrust forwards with that at the enemy. You can also hunt with this. Very sharp, long blade, sharp all the way down both sides to a point that you thrust with. Finally, you have the Iron Age sword. A one-handed weapon, sharp along both sides, normally rounded at the end, but sometimes to a point. But you slash with this weapon, you don't thrust. It's designed for use with a shield and is very effective.
The round houses the people lived in were all around the edge of the ramparts, and to the middle were the grain storage barns and also the pits where the grain was stored for long periods of time.
The people discovered that if they dug a large pit in the chalky ground here and filled it with the grain would last for up to a year and be reusable for the next season.
We also keep some livestock here. We have some ponies over here, which are Exmoor ponies, very similar to the kind of ponies that would have lived here in the Iron Age. And we also have a flock of some Manx Lawton sheep, which look very similar to Iron Age sheep. They're quite shaggy and woolly with long horns, which look quite authentic to how an Iron Age sheep would look.
In day-to-day life, nothing would have been wasted. So whatever you farmed, whatever you hunted, whatever you foraged would have been used completely. If you take an example of a sheep, you'd eat the meat, you'd use the wool, you'd use the skins and hides. If you take a red deer, we'd have hunted it, again the meat, the hide, even the antler we'd have used for tools, for weaponry. The ramparts dug around Danebury were probably dug with antler picks.
They only would have had very rudimentary tools, nothing like we have today. So they would use small hand tools to dig these ditches and make the ramparts. And then once they constructed the hill fort, they would live in the safety of the interior with their animals being grazed on the exterior, which then could be brought in times of danger or in bad weather for the winter.
We know a lot about Danebury from the items that have been found on site by Professor Barry Cunliffe. Many of the items, bones and various implements that were found are on display at Andover Museum to this day. This is the most extensively excavated hill fort in Britain, and we're very lucky to have it in Hampshire, free to the public to visit at any time.